thing. And while the kids are getting ready to get book smart, it's time for you to save smart with Straight Talk Wireless. Switch now and get a free Moto G 2025 with 5G when you activate select plans. Now that's a smart call. Get Straight Talk covered by Verizon's 5G network. Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Offer valid through 10/19/25. Taxes and fees apply. Purchase of Gold Unlimited plan or higher required for offer. Must activate the plan in-store at Walmart. Cannot be combined with other offers.
Get the Apple leasing advantage today. Visit appleleasing.com. That's appleleasing.com.
We all remember that one teacher who made a difference, who believed in us, challenged us, made learning fun. Now's your chance to say thank you in a big way. iHeartRadio's Thank a Teacher, powered by Donors Choose, celebrating the incredible impact of public school educators. Nominate an outstanding teacher in your life who's gone above and beyond for their students to be among the winners of $5,000 to stock their classroom. Help us say thank you to the educators shaping our future. Get all the info and nominate a teacher who goes the extra mile today at iHeartRadio.com/teachers.
Sports App from the Audio Visual Consultation Studios. Sports Radio 1300 The Zone. AM Austin. Your home for the Horns. And the #1 preset in your car and on the free iHeartRadio app.
The morning kickoff.
It's the morning kickoff with Mike Hardball Harge and the world's strongest man, WWE Hall of Famer, Mark Henry, on your home for the Horns. 1300 The Zone.
Good morning, Austin, Texas, or wherever you may be listening to us on these airwaves. It's Feel Good Friday here on the morning kickoff here on AM 1300 The Zone. World's strongest man, WWE Hall of Famer Mark Henry's out till Monday. Hardball Harge is out on vacation for the next week or so. They've turned the keys over to us. I'm Eric Henry of 24/7 Sports and Horns 24/7. Joining me is arguably the hardest working man in sports media. It is arguable, even though his face says otherwise. The hardest working man in sports media here in Austin, Mr. Cory Mose of KVUE. And of course, we got super producer Marcus behind the scenes, making sure we don't burn down the house while we got the keys turned over to us. Money Mose, good morning, sir.
Bro, good morning. Buenos dias, right? That's what they say nowadays. Hardest working, arguably because you're also in the market. So, you know, there's a lot of love getting shown around this morning. But, yeah, I work hard, but you work hard too, bro.
Oh, man, listen, there's plenty of love to go around, but I appreciate you jumping in here while Mark is out. Again, he will be back next week. Harge has earned some well-deserved vacation, so he will be back in a week or so. But plenty to get into on this Feel Good Friday. Cory, you know what time it is, man. You know what time it is.
Yeah, I heard the rooster, bro. So I know it's getting around football season. When you're waking up this early where you hear the rooster crowing or whatever they do, whatever it's called. But yeah, like it's time. You can smell the pigskin, you know, now it's getting to that point. You know, you look at all the training camp videos from all the reporters around the country. I love that time of year though, on my Twitter timeline or X timeline, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, those videos, that's when you know, okay, it's getting back to the swing of things. And we're not too many Saturdays away from, you know, another DKR cannon blasting my ears off. So
it is hard to believe that 6 months have passed by. It doesn't feel like 6 months, I think, because Texas played so long into the season last year. It doesn't feel like it, but the off season is finally over. Texas football reports to camp on Tuesday, which means I don't want to give a date just yet. We don't have confirmation, but we likely will be on the practice fields come Wednesday morning to watch the 2025 Texas Longhorns. Steve Sarkisian entering his 5th year. Plenty to get into as far as the Longhorn football team. We'll save some of it for Mark when he gets back next week, but I couldn't have Cory on and not just get his initial thoughts. Cory, what are you most excited about? Because I know there's plenty to be excited about. What are you most excited about?
Well, wait, before we get into the football part, I got a question to ask you though. Sure. You know, I didn't go to Atlanta for SEC Media Days.
You did not.
So how are the wings? I gotta ask.
It's 7:03 in the morning, and Cory is already trying to blow up my spot talking about how are the wings. What Cory's referring to is for any of the Texas fans who have made the pilgrimage to Atlanta over the past few weeks, I see Marcus' eyes raised, just making sure we don't get ourselves thrown off of terrestrial air here. The best wings in Atlanta, they come from an establishment that you wouldn't necessarily think of our wings.
Yeah, ask Lou Williams.
The man who broke the bubble during COVID protocol.
Yeah, crazy.
The Lou Will lemon pepper. And yes, I will answer Cory's question. They are as good as advertised. Hopefully next time you are in Atlanta, you will make the pilgrimage, because I've been left alone to make the pilgrimage. So I hope you will join us when we go to Atlanta in November, when Texas faces Georgia.
Yeah. Definitely excited for that. And I'm excited to try those wings for sure. I'm definitely down to go to that pilgrimage with you, bro. Like, for sure. They look good on your story. That's why I asked. I was like, succulent.
Listen, I know that they were phenomenal. That is a word you could use to describe them. They were excellent wings, and the fries also very good to match as well. But yeah, Cory, you've been around this program for several years. Really, the duration of Steve Sarkisian's tenure.
Yeah.
Now entering year 5, I mean, what excites you the most? Because I don't know if you feel this way. I know I do. You felt as if Texas was a national title contender last year, with, of course, the questions of what if, how will Quinn Ewers fare? How will they replace the wide receivers? How do you replace Jonathan Brooks? Defense. Now, I feel like you have a second year of those questions being answered, that this is not a blip. This is not, a flash in the pan. This is sustained success, and Texas does enter 2025 as a national title contender. What are you most excited for this season? Really, what are you most excited for to see when we do get out to the Frank Denius Field to watch practice?
Yeah, I think it's kind of leaning towards what you just mentioned, right? How do these questions get answered? I always love, coming to the year, there's always these questions about how does this whole get filled? And I enjoy the process of finding that out. Last year it was kind of like the wide receiver room with so many new guys. How does Quinn build that chemistry so fast for this season? And you saw it early with Matthew Golden. He was able to kind of have that type of connection early in the season. And of course, in the spring game, you saw Isaiah Bond doing his thing. But I felt like, I always feel like these big questions heading into the season, we have the questions, but I feel like the team already knows the answers. And so one of the biggest questions I'm ready to just figure out is Ryan Wingo ready? Is he ready to be the guy? Wide receiver 1. Is CJ Baxter ready to go? Just like he was 2 years ago. Will he split? Is it going to be 50-50 split with Trey Wisner, or is it going to be leaning a little bit more towards Trey? Because let's not forget, Trey is the only 1,000-yard rusher returning to the SEC this season. And so do you hand him the keys, or do you let CJ cook? And the other thing on the defensive end, who's going to be that new Jade role? That star position that can also go outside, that can play boundary or field, and then could play safety or be in the box. Like, is that a Gilbo? Who takes over that role? Is that Kobe Black? These questions that we won't really see until we're out there at practice. And even though we only see stretching at practice, but anyways, at least we're out there, seeing a little bit of something. Who takes those first team reps? But I'm excited for those questions to be answered. But then also, what Arch Manning mentioned this during SEC Media Days. He talked about how he knows nothing except SEC football. I think someone asked him about, like, hey, when you were in the Big 12, and Arch was like, well, actually, I was never in the Big 12. Yeah. And when he said that, I was like, oh wow, like, this is kind of getting to that group where they don't really know anything but SEC ball. So how does that affect the play on the field, or does it? Those are also something I'm excited to look out for this season.
It's funny you mentioned that. I'll kind of touch on some of the things you mentioned there real quick. It's funny you mentioned that, because for Arch, he totally forgets his freshman year where he was in the Big 12, right? His mindset is totally, I'm an SEC quarterback. This is where I want to compete. I will give you a question, something that I am looking forward to, and then also kind of touch on some of the points you raised there. And I did get a laugh when he said we only watch stretching. Listen, Steve Sarkisian left us out there for an hour. Do you remember that? I don't know if you were there for that.
I was the NABJ.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I didn't have an issue with it. All right. You're talking about someone who covered Group of 5 football for 6 years when you could watch the entire practice. So I had no problem being out there for an hour. There were some other members of the Texas Longhorn beat who, after about 15 minutes, were talking about they didn't put on enough sunscreen for this. They didn't, adequately have themselves ready. I'm like, listen,
that's crazy. All day. Yeah, man. That's the only access we get for an hour. What? Yeah. I'm about to soak it. I'm about to get all these UV rays if I can watch practice.
But I'll give you the thing that I'm looking forward to. Week 1 is this offensive line and really this offense as a whole, fellas. I've always been of the belief that defense tends to hit the ground running faster than offense because, offense, especially when you lose a lot of players, it takes time for things to come together, most notably with this Texas football team, offensive line, right? 4 new starters. I understand you have a Cole Hudson who has played for you. You do have a Trevor Gooseby who's played for you, but the cohesion, Cory, all of it coming together, how quickly can they hit the ground running between now and August 30? That is the number one thing that I am most looking forward to on week 1. But you talked about Ryan Wingo, Cory, and I've been on this train for a minute, okay? And I've said it here on the show with Harge and Mark. I've said it on other appearances. And we're up against the break, so I'll say it quick and get your thoughts to see if you agree. If Ryan Wingo had the same amount of targets as Jeremiah Smith, as Ryan Williams, he would have put up similar numbers last year. This isn't just my opinion. The numbers back that up, that he was not the number 1 receiver in an offense. Those 2 other receivers were. Cory, my bold prediction, and I guess I should have saved this for the world's strongest take, but maybe I'll come back to it in the 8 p.m. hour, that Ryan Wingo will be mentioned with the Jeremiah Smiths and Ryan Williams this year as Texas' number 1 receiver. Your thoughts?
I totally agree. I don't think there's an argument behind the fact that the last 2 years Texas has produced first-round wide receivers. And so what would be the difference for them to not continue to do that? It would be a tremendous breakdown of the offense. I just don't see Sarkisian letting it happen. And, to go back to your point just now with the offensive line and with the wide receiver room, what has Sark done in the past when it comes to trying to fill these holes or trying to fill gaps that he feels like they're not ready to do is transfer portal. He didn't bring anybody in except for Mosley in the wide receiver room, who's not going to be wide receiver 1. Same thing with the offensive line. He didn't bring anybody in for them either. So he has trust in Ryan Wingo, and he has trust in that offensive line room as well.
Trust in the offensive line room, trust in the receivers, trust in Texas's recruiting. I remember, Cory, it felt like about a week ago or so that people were doubting Texas's recruiting. Trust in Steve Sarkisian and Texas football. All right, we are headed to a break. The morning kickoff. Mike Harge, Eric Henry, Cory Mose filling in. Get the names right. AM 1300, The Zone.
Text Texas, followed by your message. 815 to channel up Sports Radio AM 1300, The Zone hosts. That's Texas, followed by your message to 81530. Standard data and message rates may apply.
From the Odoo.com Traffic Center, Odoo.com, the only business software you will need.
The ramp is back open on 183 southbound off to I-35 southbound after a crash here has been taken care of, but there is reports of an accident on 130 southbound around Moore Road and about a 5 to 7 minute slowdown caused by stop and go traffic on I-35 northbound going from Onion Creek Parkway up to William Cannon. I'm Jason Fossick with a look at Austin area traffic.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. A great alternative to a mobile phone for your kids. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get 60% off. Free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off.
Ice Cube's Big 3 live from Cincinnati this Saturday, 1 p.m. on CBS. Physical and fiercely competitive 3-on-3 basketball. Houston must win to keep their playoff hopes alive against the physical Miami 305. Starring Michael Beasley and Lance Stevenson coming off a heartbreaking loss. Then Dwight Howard and the surging LA Riot fight the Detroit Amps for a share of first place. Plus 2 more games. Basketball the way it's meant to be played. Big 3 live on CBS and Vice this Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 Pacific.
Oh, yay! After 48 years, Factory Mattress is going out of business forever. Over $15 million worth of world-class mattress brands must be sold immediately. Up to 80% off at Austin and San Antonio's largest independent mattress retailer. Everything must go, right down to the bare walls. Tempur-Pedic, Sealy, and Stearns & Foster. No interest financing is still available. The Factory Mattress going out of business sale is happening now at all 14 locations. Don't miss it.
Our iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One, is coming back to Las Vegas September 19th and 20th. Streaming live only on Hulu. Tickets are on sale now at AXS.com. Get your tickets today. AXS.com.
Would you drive 10 minutes for $500? That's the distance from CarMax to Henna Chevrolet. And Henna guarantees you $500 more than any CarMax offer for your vehicle. Just show Henna your written CarMax appraisal offer within 7 days, and you'll get $500,000 more guaranteed. Is your time worth $50 a minute? It is at Henna. Come get your money at Henna.com.
Henna Chevrolet, we'll always stand by you.
Together, let's drive.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 Pro on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16 Pro. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Hand sanitizer. It's lavender.
I'm good. Seriously.
Let me check this pocket. Oh, mints?
Really, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins. I'm a mom. Wait 1 sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
It's our best iPhone offer ever. Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your phone up to $800.
With 24 monthly bill credits, new line, $100 plus a month on experience beyond finance agreement, $999.99 and qualifying forwarded. For well qualified plus tax and $10 connection charge. Pay off via virtual prepaid card. Allow 15 days. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. See T-Mobile.com.
I'm Dr. Damon Tanton for Viome. Viome's full body intelligence test is the new science in anti-aging and life-extending insights. Viome analyzes your biological age to see if your body is aging too rapidly. You'll learn how making simple, precise changes in certain foods and supplements can, get this, slow your aging, keep you looking young, and help prevent future health issues. Next, Viome doctors design supplements specifically to your body's needs. Their job is to slow down and help reverse how fast your body is aging. And your Viome microbiome test reveals why you have stomach issues, don't sleep well, have low energy, even why you can't lose weight and more. Viome reboots your body to live longer, live healthier, and look younger.
Viome is changing lives. Order your full body intelligence test online and save $50. Viome guarantees rapid, remarkable health improvements your doctor will notice. Visit Viome.com, promo code THRIVE. That's VIOME.com, promo code THRIVE.
Wake up with Harge and Henry in the morning kickoff on 1300 The Zone.
Let me go ahead and unmute myself here. Try this again. Listen, I know Harge did it the other day, so I don't feel bad. I know Harge did it the other day. We're back, morning kickoff, AM 1300, The Zone. Mike Hardball Harge, Mark Henry, the world's strongest man. Both of them are out. Eric Henry of Horns 24/7 Sports, and Cory Mose of KVUE.
Yeah.
Cory, I
know the playlist goes crazy, by the way.
Listen, the playlist does go crazy, which is crucial.
Yeah.
Which is crucial to a good show in my mind.
Yeah, you got it. Just stress me in for the next block. You know what I'm saying? That's the tone.
Cory, I know coming off of the Texas football talk, you want to dive into some of the broader Southeastern Conference landscape.
Yeah.
More specifically, Southeastern Conference quarterbacks, a position that we all know is going to drive things in college football. And I definitely, when I had you in mind to pinch hit for Mark, I wanted to get your thoughts, how you kind of see these SEC quarterbacks lining up, because as you mentioned, I was at SEC Media Days last week, and you couldn't really get a consensus, Cory. That was the big thing on really, I would say 2 through 5. You know, there was a general consensus that Garrett Nussmeier is the best quarterback in the league. I think you do have to give him that respect returning, whether you agree or not, whether you think he'll be there at the end. But 2 through 5, you could not get a consensus at all. So before we get to kind of just a quick rundown of maybe the 5 guys we would take, I'm just curious, who is the guy, and you can choose Arch if you want to, But is there someone outside of Arch who intrigues you the most that you think, man, if this guy hits, look out?
Yeah, I'm a big DJ Lagway guy. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think DJ is that dude. I think he showed those flashes last season, especially in the big games. The game that he got hurt, I believe that was LSU, correct? The week before
No,
Texas.
that was
Or
Georgia.
it
He got hurt.
Georgia?
He got
Yes, fact. And he had Florida in that game. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, I just feel like DJ is going to have that breakout year. I think, this is maybe a hot take, if I'm just going to say this out loud, but I'm going to say it now. I've been saying on different
Hey,
airways
we're
anyways.
live on the air. Go ahead.
Yeah, facts. But I think that game against Florida this year in the Swamp is going to be more of a challenge than the game against Ohio State. Like, I totally believe it. I think Arch having to go into that environment for the first SEC road test as a starter, I think that's going to be a challenge with DJ Lagway not playing against Texas last year. I know he wants to get his lick back because he had to watch his team get slapped around at DKR while he just had a phenomenal game the week before. I think he's going to be motivated just as a Texas kid. And so, yeah, that game against Florida, I think Texas fans should be more worried about that game than the one against Ohio State. But to get back to your point, yeah, DJ Lagway is a dude that I really do think he's going to have a breakout year, that people are going to start putting him in that conversation of the best SEC quarterback. I also got to see Lenore Sellers at the Manning Passing Academy this summer, and that was a cool little experience because, one, I got to see the quarterbacks around the nation, but also just looking in person with these guys. And now I see why it's so hard to tackle Lenore. Like, he's just built like a running back. Like, it legit is. And so I think he can also make that step next year and be considered the best SEC quarterback at South Carolina. So, yeah, those are two guys that I'm really looking out for. And, of course, like Arch is in that conversation. But DJ and Lenore are two guys I really like a lot.
Before I come back to your hot take, because I have a strong DJ Lagway take, but yours is stronger than mine, I was actually going to ask you about Lenore Sellers. So I'm curious if you can expound on that a little bit for the audience, because I know, I don't know about you, Cory. Obviously, both of us work the same schedule on game days, more or less work the same schedule. So, we're getting a chance to watch what we can. But I had a chance to watch, what was it? LSU, South Carolina, I believe. Yeah, that was the game I had a chance to watch last year. That's the one that really showed me, like, okay, Lenore Sellers is a little bit more than kind of just what I had in my mind. Do you think he can be, just because you had a chance to see him at the Manning Passing Academy down there in Louisiana, do you think he's a guy that, maybe could South Carolina be a sleeper team in the SEC because he has that type of potential?
Yeah, I definitely think they could be a sleeper team. You have a superstar at quarterback. Like, when you have that in the college football realm, that will take you a long way because they'll get you a couple wins. And those couple wins can make you a 10-win team or 8-win team, and I think that's the biggest difference. Last year in South Carolina, they just didn't win enough without Lenore's. Remember that LSU game is a prime example. Lenore's got hurt. They had the lead before Lenore's left the field, and then they lost that lead. So, yeah, with that game, they would have been in the college football playoff, and we wouldn't be talking about it if they were a fringe team. We would be talking about how can they return to the college football playoff. So, yeah, they have that, especially because of Shane Beamer. Like, Shane Beamer and his history of special teams and his ability to be able to flip the field but also make those special teams important, unlike some other coaches. He utilizes those punt blocks. He utilizes different kickoff schemes. And I think on a college football sphere, you don't really see that with head coaches being able to utilize the special teams game as much as Shane Beamer does. And so, yeah, I like South Carolina a lot. Yes, Lenore's, his arm is still a little in question, of course. Has he taken that step? But I think you can say the same thing with Garrett Nussmeier. Like, when you mentioned Garrett, I don't know. Like, in the boot, they love him. They love the Nuss bus, But, like, watching them practice, watching them go through the drills, he didn't really stand out to me. And I just don't see the hype around Garrett. Not gonna lie to you, but maybe he proves me wrong this year.
Well, I'll jump right into my top 5 list because I do agree with you. I don't want to, kind of repeat some of the same talking points you have. I'll send some of this sound to Marcus. Maybe we'll play it next week when Mark is back, because DJ Lagway was very confident. When I was in his scrum at SEC Media Days, the guy he reminds me of, and I know this may shock some people, but Cam Newton. And I understand he's not nearly as big as Cam. You know, DJ's about 6'2", 6'3". Cam is legit 6'6". But the aura, the feeling of whatever game I am playing, I can win. I can guide this team to a victory. That really stands out to me. But my top 5 list will go number 1, Garrett Nussmeier. Number 2, I have Lenoris Sellers. Number 3, as I look over this, make sure I've got my list correct. DJ Lagway. That's right now. This is not at the end of the year, right now. Number 4, I have Arch Manning. And number 5, I'm going to put some respect on this guy's name.
Okay.
Diego Pavia. All he does is win. The guy guided Vandy to a 7-win year last year. That is my top 5. Again, I want to leave some time and then we'll be up against the break. Corey, go for it.
The King of Nashville. I like it. I actually have a friend in Nashville. She goes up there from time to time to see her family, and she says every time she sees Diego out. Every time. I said that's hilarious. Because he goes out and then he goes out and balls on the field. Like, it really doesn't matter. But John Mateer. I'm gonna just throw that out there.
Okay.
I think John Mateer is the guy. Yeah, I am. I think Washington State had a track record now. Like, you can't deny it. Going back to Gardner Minshew, like, they have a track record of producing pretty decent quarterbacks. And so, yeah, I like John Mateer. He had the good running back in Jaden Ott as well over there at Oklahoma. I know Texas fans don't want to hear that. But, I mean, the dude put up numbers. And so you got to respect the numbers. And he's one of the oldest guys in the SEC, too. So I think that plays a factor with experience. So, you know, just maybe a little honorable mention for John Mateer.
So John Mateer would be an honorable mention, or would he make your top 5?
He will replace who you had at 5. Yeah.
Diego Pavia. Okay. All right. But the rest of the list you seem confident in.
I like it. I do like it for sure. I understand the nuts bus at number 1. I get it because you got to show respect. He won't be number 1 by the end of the season. I promise you that.
I'll give you this. If I were to give you a name that I genuinely think, not sleeping on, but it's not necessarily him as much as the team around him, Taylon Green. I mean, I was covering Group of Fives when he was at Boise, legit 6'6", 220, Texas kid. I just don't know about that team around him at Arkansas, right? Now granted, maybe they come into Austin, maybe they make a little bit of noise. I don't see that happening, but Taylon Green's a guy I think you could possibly be, not you yourself, but just the broader college football landscape. If everything comes together at Arkansas, I could see it. You see that one or no?
Yeah, I like Taylor just because of his physical gifts that he has, man. Like, it's crazy how he moves. Even just watching him against Texas last year, he had a couple of escape runs. I'm like, how do you get out of that? And so can he put everything together around, with, like you said, the talent? I just don't know if they have enough talent. I think the same thing with Ole Miss. I like Austin Simmons. Yeah. That's another guy I saw at the Manning Passing Academy. He looked the part, but that he have enough weapons around him. So those are questions that will be answered this season, but they definitely have the physical gifts to be in that conversation.
Have the physical gifts for sure. Another guy who you'll have to see how the pieces come together, Gunnar Stockton. That's another one as well. But again, we will get into that and so much more. So to a little bit of NFL talk in the next segment. Morning Kickoff, AM 1300 The Zone. Eric Henry, Cory Mose, pinch hitting for Hardball Harge, and Mark Henry. We'll be back.
The Jamie and Sandy Show podcast. Stream it on the iHeartRadio app.
There's a crash being reported on the southbound side of the 130 toll road around Moore Road. We also have some stop-and-go traffic northbound on I-35 between Onion Creek Parkway over to William Cannon, causing about a 10-minute delay. But the drive over on Mopac northbound is issue-free this morning, going from Davis Lane up to Cesar Chavez. I'm Jason Fostick with a look at Austin area traffic.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Business owners can now keep in touch with up to 200 staff members at one time. Go to rapidradios.com now for up to 60% off and free shipping.
Hi, everyone. This is Tom McKay, owner of Audiovisual Consultations. We've been serving and assisting customers in the Texas area.
I think I got this by now, old man. This is Camilla McKay, Audiovisual's social media and website
website manager. Our company has been helping you sit back and relax for the last 37 years. We come to you, and we're the kind of workers you want in your home. We give you all the advice at a great price, and we do a lot more than just audio-visual systems. We have employees capable of performing services like electrical contracting, heated floors, motorized shades. Am I forgetting anything, old man?
Yeah, we do surveillance systems, controlled lighting systems, and landscape lighting, computer networks, multi-room audio systems, and of course, we install some really cool theaters.
I had a feeling you were going to say that last one.
Now, am I forgetting anything?
Only this. Remember to hug your kids, laugh with strangers, and make love to whoever the hell you want.
So give us a call at 512-255-8678.
Or visit us online at avconsultations.com.
That's 512-255-8678.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating.
Keep celebrating when you bundle and save with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Lowe's knows big savings make a big difference, especially when you're shopping for appliances. Hurry in to get up to 30% off select major appliances. Plus, My Lowe's Rewards members get free delivery, free haul away, free installation and parts on purchases of $2,500 or more. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 7/30. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Price, delivery time, and vehicle availability may vary based on order size and location. Exclusions apply. See Lowes.com/delivery for more details.
A couple years ago, I was in the bathroom at the airport when I dropped my smartphone in the toilet. Not smart. I was multitasking when I should have been focused on the job at hand. Embarrassing, but I'm not alone. According to Google, 7 million other multitaskers accidentally dropped their phones into the bowl last year. A gentle reminder that right now you can get yourself a brand new Samsung Galaxy A36 absolutely free with a $35 plan from Pure Talk. The A36 comes with scratch-resistant Gorilla Glass and a battery that'll last all day, along with unlimited talk, text, and data on America's most dependable 5G network. In other words, it's tough and smart. Something to think about next time you're multitasking and the necessary. Just dial pound 250, say keyword Mike Rowe to get your free phone today. You can make the switch in just 10 minutes. That's pound 250. Say Mike Rowe to switch to a no-nonsense smartphone and a company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
The Cowboys and Texans both continue training camp. Quarterback Dak Prescott said Micah Parsons deserves to get paid and hopes it happens sooner than later. Right tackle Terrence Steele set out due to an ankle injury. Texans rookie wide receiver Jalen Noel continues to impress while lining up with the second-team offense. Astros fall to the A's, ending their 4-game win streak. I'm Ron Moss.
Hey, this is Lincoln Kennedy. Here's what's trending on the iHeart Sports Network.
Presented by Mercedes-Benz.
The Mercedes-Benz Dream Days are back with offers on vehicles like the 2025 E-Class, CLE Coupe, C-Class, and EQE Sedan. Hurry in now through July 31st. Visit your local authorized dealer or learn more at mbusa.com/dream.
Join iHeartRadio and Sarah Spain in celebrating the 1-year anniversary of iHeart Women's Sports.
With powerful interviews and insider analysis, our shows have connected fans with the heart of women's sports. In just 1 year, the network has launched 15 shows and built a community united by passion.
Podcasts that amplify the voices of women in sports.
Thank you for supporting iHeart Women's Sports and our founding sponsors, Elf Beauty, Capital One, and Novartis.
Just open the free iHeart app and search iHeart Women's Sports to listen now.
Sports Radio 1300 The Zone. Hook 'em horns.
Get yourself a dose of positivity.
I am a positivity magnet.
Right now.
With a tremendous amount of positivity.
Okay, it's happening. It's the Harge Knocks Life with Mike Harge.
Morning kickoff. Hardball Harge. Mark Henry. Eric Henry Horns 24/7. Cory Mose of KVUE. Pinch hitting. Mose, what you know about that Marcus brought us back in with? I'm just curious. What you know about that?
I don't know much, bro.
Oh man, the man right here. See, this is why
Yeah, I get it.
Even though Cory and I are roughly in the same age range on the Texas beat, I still am the big bro of this relationship. I got to put Cory on a couple things, but that's another conversation for another time. Cory, I know when we planned out the show, you wanted to talk a little bit of AFC North, switch to the NFL because yesterday is actually the last Thursday that we are without football for a long time. So it's fitting that NFL talk make its way to the morning kickoff. Sir, your thoughts?
Yeah, it's just a couple things I just wanted to touch on, bro. I just want to make sure I'm not crazy. You know, when I talk to people about different topics, especially an AFC North topic, because, you know, I follow that division a lot for some reason. I've always loved the way the AFC North plays football. I feel like they're just the prime of, you know, rain, sleet, snow, we're going to hit you in the face. You know, like it really don't matter what the weather is. Going back to the Ray Lewis days, of course, the Steelers battles. And, you know, I'm a big fan of Mike Tomlin as well. Now you got Shador in that division. And my boy Taj Brooks, shout out to the Maynard legend out here in Austin, Texas. And also Samaje Perine back in Cincinnati, Hendrickson grad. So shout out to him as well. But yeah, that whole division is very intriguing to me. But there's one particular team that I've had a grievance with throughout this offseason. And I've been talking to people and complaining to people about it. I have a lot of friends that are Steelers fans, right? And so they're from the Pittsburgh area. And they're on their high horse right now. They believe that, you know, Aaron Rodgers is the guy. They believe that, you know, this is going to get them out of the whole 9-8, you know what I'm saying, tight beat that they've been doing the last couple of years, barely being over 500. And I just feel like when I look at this roster and I continue to see what the front office does, it's just so abnormal compared to the rest of the league. And I just don't understand why they don't see the trend. And when I say that, I mean this. On the defensive side of the ball, if you look around at all the good teams in the league, we're talking about the Eagles, you're talking about the Rams, talking about the Chiefs, they don't spend money on defense. They get one or two guys, let's say Chris Jones, that's a game record. Let's say Jalen Carter, who's going to get paid whenever his time comes up. A Jared Verse, whenever his time comes up. They're going to pay those guys. But they're not paying the linebackers of the world. They're not paying the corners. The Rams let Jalen Ramsey walk. Don't forget that. They let him walk out the door because they know they're going to invest in the offensive side of the ball with their money and stay young on defense. The Steelers are complete opposite. They are, let's spend all the bread on defense. Let's go get Patrick Queen from Baltimore. Let's spend bread on Jalen Ramsey. Let's extend TJ Watt. Shout out Texas, but let's give an extension to Deshaun Elliott. And they're spending so much bread on the defensive end and not spending any bread on the offense and letting Najee Harris walk, letting guys, the left tackle walk. And it's like, I don't understand where they're going in the front office. And I get it. Defense wins championships, but it's a young defense that wins championships, not a bunch of guys that are kind of past their prime. Remember, they paid Darius Slay, you know? So it's just a lot of money getting spent on the defensive side of the ball that isn't really similar to what the good teams are doing around the league. And I just don't want to, you know, I love Mike Tomlin, right? But it's always been the offense. The offense have always been the issue ever since they lost Big Ben. And so I'm just disappointed at the way that they've done this offseason. And I'm mad that they think Aaron Rodgers is the answer.
You know, a couple things to respond to, and I couldn't help but chuckle on a couple of things. One, remember, we are in Cowboys territory, and I'm sure there are a lot of Cowboys fans who just wish their team would spend overall. Just wish their team would spend. So there's that aspect of the equation.
That's fair.
That aside, you ever watch Cory on KVUE? You know, does a great job. Him, you know, Darren Heron, you know, Jeff Jones, the whole crew out there. Cory can be a bit of a sly guy there. So I saw what he did with the high horse there with Aaron Rodgers, because I agree with you. Aaron Rodgers is usually on, you know, his high horse coming into whatever team he is in. No, I mean, to your point, I do find the Steelers situation to be interesting. I think there's merit to the point that you're making. Look at Cincinnati, right? They don't want to pay Trey Hendrickson, right?
Yeah.
And also some of the quotes coming out of Cincy have been wild, where the owner, Mike Brown, said, you know, he could get hit by a car tomorrow.
What is going on with these owners, by the way, bro? Jerry Jones?
Jerry Jones, you know, I don't want to be ageist, but they just say anything when it comes to paying people.
They say, I sign the checks. It don't matter what I say. I sign the checks. All right, bro.
I'll come back to the AFC North in a second. One of my favorite Jerry Jones quote, it came from last year, excuse me, when he's trying to relate and he's like, why don't people who can't afford a mansion live in and he's been rich for so long, he couldn't remember a condo, an apartment, nothing. He said, why do people who can't afford a mansion live in it's like, okay, he's just been rich that long. He has no idea. But back to the AFC.
We got a name for good old Jerry Jones. We call him the Crypt Keeper.
Crypt Keeper.
Listen, at this point, Jerry's earned it. And Cory, you were in the building when Jerry got booed out of his own building at Jerry World when the Texas Longhorns played in the Cotton Bowl, and he had to make his way into the pregame. But I digress. The AFC North is an interesting division. When I look at it, right, I think, and I do agree with you, just quarterback play, man. Yeah. Joe Burrow. We'll see what's left of Aaron Rodgers. Lamar Jackson, right? It is an interesting division, but I guess I hear what you're saying, but I kind of disagree in the sense that with all the quarterbacks you have, someone's got to stop them, right? Someone's got to stop Pat Mahomes. Someone's got to stop Josh Allen. And I'm not saying invest all your money in defense, but I think at least you kind of have to go the other way. It's like Philly playing power football when the rest of the league decided we're going to spread it out. All right, we're going to tush push. We're going to get a bunch of big offensive linemen, and we're going to draft everybody from Georgia and just say, all right, we're going to maul you, right? So that's kind of my POV, Cory. I'll let you bring us home as we're up against break. I'll let you bring us home. Just give me your thought on that, because I kind of like going the other direction as the other teams.
Yeah, I would like it too if they don't have a track record of being bad on offense. You know what I'm saying? Like that's my biggest thing. It's like, okay, we get it. This is the Steeler culture. You always been pride yourself on defense. But at a certain point, you got to invest somewhere on the offensive side of the ball. And they thought they were investing a couple years ago when they spent the first round draft pick on Kenny Pickett. But again, it goes back to the factor of what are we doing with scouting? We all saw Kenny Pickett wasn't a first round quarterback. And so they're trying to push the narrative of the Pittsburgh guy going to Pitt. You know what I'm saying? So like I get there trying to put people in seats. But at the end of the day, you want to win football games. And I think to do that, you have to put up points. And yes, Philly, ground and pound, they did all that, but they put up 30-plus points a game. And the Steelers aren't doing that. So, yeah, that's why I feel like they got to spend their money in different pockets.
All good points. That is Cory Mose at KVUE, bringing the heat as always. Jam-packed 8 a.m. hour. Got Hank South of Horns 24/7 talking recruiting. Chip Brown of Horns 24/7 giving us the inside scoop. When we will be back on the morning kickoff, Mike Hardball Harge, Mark Henry, pinch hitting for the fellas, Cory Mose and Eric Henry of 24/7 Sports.
Join Craig Way weekdays from 2 to 5 p.m.
One time when Bill Schoening and I were doing a Tuesday night game, and there was an umpire behind the plate, Tom Jenkins. And Tom was a rather corpulent fellow, and he lets a pitch go in there. And you hear this pop again. He goes, ball two. Then crystal clear that our field mic picked up was some fan yelling, Jenkins, you fat.
Only on Sports Radio AM 1300, The Zone.
From the Odoo.com Traffic Center, Odoo.com, the only business software you will need.
There's a crash being reported on the southbound side of the 130 toll road around Moore Road. We also have some stop-and-go traffic northbound on I-35 between Onion Creek Parkway over to William Cannon, causing about a 10-minute delay. But the drive over on Mopac northbound is issue-free this morning, going from Davis Lane up to Cesar Chavez. I'm Jason Fostick with a look at Austin area traffic.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. A great alternative to a mobile phone for your kids. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get 60% off. Free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off.
It is time for you to express yourself on your license plate. Hi, it's Bob Pickett. Now, listen, I know I've been noticing more personalized license plates around the Austin area, around Texas during my travels. Have you expressed yourself? Go to myplates.com. It's so easy to do. Myplates.com, the one-stop plate shop in Texas. Over 500 official plate designs, Texas themes, colors, sports college. Express yourself. And if you mention the code KVET, you can save up to $55, but just for a limited time. Code KVET, myplates.com.
And Doug. Here we have the Limu Emu in its natural habitat, helping people customize their car insurance and save hundreds with Liberty Mutual. Fascinating. It's accompanied by his natural ally, Doug.
Limu, is that guy with the binoculars watching us?
Cut the camera. They see us.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Savings vary. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.
Hey there, history fans.
iHeartRadio brings you a brand new history podcast.
It's called American History Hotline,
where you ask the question,
what is political technology?
Did George Washington really cut down a cherry tree?
Were JFK and Marilyn Monroe having an affair?
And American History Hotline gets to the bottom of it.
I'm so glad you asked me this question.
This is such a ridiculous story that we tell ourselves because we don't want to know the real story.
Open your free iHeartRadio app. Search American History Hotline and listen now.
Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya, guselkumab, may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
Looking for top quality permanent fencing for your home or business? Look no further than Viking Fence. With over 50 years of experience in Central Texas, Viking Fence delivers craftsmanship you can trust. Whether you need wood, iron, or a custom solution, Viking has the perfect fence to fit your needs. What sets Viking Fence apart? They source the finest quality Western red cedar lumber direct from the mill, the most durable and attractive fence material available. Plus, they offer 3 grades of fence pickets to meet every budget. So whether you want Viking to install your fence or you're taking on the project yourself, call Viking Fence today. They pride themselves on excellent work, outstanding service, and an honest reputation. Call 512-601-8911 for a free estimate. That's 512-601-8911. Or visit VikingFence.com/radio. That's VikingFence.com/radio for your free estimate today. When you think fence, think Viking.
Get the Apple Leasing Advantage today. Visit appleleasing.com. That's appleleasing.com.
From the Audio-Visual Consultation Studios, Sports Radio 1300 The Zone, KVUE AM Austin, your home for the Horns, and the #1 preset in your car and on the free iHeartRadio app.
Find your iHeartRadio everywhere. There are hundreds of ways to experience iHeartRadio at home and on the go, beyond the iPhone and Android app and at iHeartRadio.com. Here's another way to connect to iHeartRadio. Apple CarPlay. Our iOS app comes alive in your car's dashboard with a seamless way to play your favorite music, radio stations, and podcasts. Developed with driver safety in mind, the Apple CarPlay interface was built for simple navigation and to limit driver distraction while making sure you can still access all your favorite content from iHeartRadio. No need to download another app. Just plug or pair your iPhone with your dash, and if CarPlay is available in your vehicle, iHeartRadio will sync automatically. iHeartRadio, everywhere you want to listen, including in your car through Apple CarPlay. Check it out for free now. iHeartRadio, anywhere you want to listen, iHeartRadio is there.
Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone presents the Craig Way Show. Join Craig Way weekdays from 2 to 5 p.m. only on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone.
16,000 square, 8 million up there, 2 million down here.
Morning Kickoff. Mike Hardball Harge, Mark Henry. The fellas are out pinch hitting for them. Eric Henry of 24/7 Sports and Cory Mose of KVUE. Appreciate the super producer Marcus holding everything down behind the glass. I love what he brought us in with, Cory, because that is a natural segue to what I wanted to get into on this Feel Good Friday. Again, jam-packed 8 a.m. hour, almost at 8 p.m. Not used to being up this early in the morning. 8 a.m. It's a little tricky for your boy here on this jam-packed 8 a.m. hour. Got Hank South of Horns 24/7, of course, Chip Brown of Horns 24/7, talking all things Texas. But before we get to that, Cory, I knew if I was having you on, I had to get your thoughts. Clips, Pusha T, No Malice, formerly known as Malice. What were your thoughts on the album, man? Because I have strong thoughts on people who, at a certain age. I'm not saying you can't do certain things, but I think there needs to be a bit of evolution. I'll just say that, And listen, I'm all for, that guy who bought his little ranch down there in Aggie Land, that guy Drake, who bought that ranch down in Aggie Land. Like anything that keeps him off of my earwaves, I am happy with that. So I cannot be mad at that. Drake might pop up wearing one of those, I'm a non-Texan. What are those little suits? What do they call people? The yell leaders? Is that what they call them? Yeah. You might pop up being one of them, at this rate, But Cory, your thoughts on the musical lyricism, the musical, fire, I would call it. That was Clips.
Yeah, I liked it. Coming from a young head like me, you know what I'm saying? I can appreciate and respect it. You feel me? You talk about like trying to evolve and do things that you didn't do in the past. Or you did in the past and try to make things different nowadays. You may get tired of listening to the same type of flow or beat. I didn't, what I'm saying? I appreciate that they're still sticking to their guns and they know what's good. And what's good is what they created. And so I like the album for sure. Now I would be lying to you if I said I didn't listen to it more than 3 times, or I did listen to it more than 3 times. I've been on that Giveon. Not gonna lie to you, I've been on that Giveon heavy. That he also dropped the album the same week, and so those have been the 2 things I've been running back. And so yeah, I like the Clips album for sure though. But have I ran back and listened to it? Nah, not gonna lie to you, I haven't.
Marcus, let me let you in on Cory a little bit, all right? Because Cory, what he will do as part of the Texas beat, right? Whenever there is a reference that he is too young to get, he'll just laugh. He'll be like, I got it, right? And then. Yeah. And then usually it'll be
I'm mad you caught that though. I'm mad you caught that.
usually it'll be Seth Golden or someone who will be like, Cory, you know what we're talking about? And Cory will be like, no, I have no idea.
No clue. Sorry,
but the reason I mentioned that is I like how you snuck in, being the young head of the group. Listen, man, I just turned 34, man. I'm not that old, but in comparison to Mr. Mose, see, that's why I got the little squint on his eyes right there. That's why I got the little squint. It's okay. Hey, Cory, I hate to do it to you. Marcus can probably attest. Coming home, it ain't that too far from you, baby. It ain't that too far for you. That do-rag gonna be covering nothing. Just like LeBron.
Hey, chill out. Don't put that on me. Do not put that on me, Ricky Bobby. What we talking about,
it gets to the point you just gotta go and let it go.
Hey, there's a lot here. All right, let's believe that.
Yeah, that is odd. We finally get a host on the show with hair, and
he's covering it up. It is funny. It's funny because the focus
that is funny.
The focus subjected to Mark and Harge, who and listen, Mark had it. Mark had it right for a minute. He had the little dreads. Granted, I don't want to get myself in trouble on Mark's show.
Yeah. So
we'll just say he had the dreads. We'll say he had the dreads. How about that? And I wonder what Harge had back in the day in his baseball days. You have the high top. You had the Gumby. I'm curious what Harge had.
I'm wondering if he got the old school Jerry curl.
Harge did have the Jerry. I forgot. Harge did post a picture of him looking like Slim from the Wood with the Jerry curl.
Stop it.
He did. He did. So there's that.
Man.
Now, I'll be real quick here with my thoughts here on this one. Now, listen, what I was saying in terms of age, Cory, is like, I don't want to hear Jay-Z rap about the stuff he was rapping about in his 20s, right? Because that's not the life you live. We see you on the yacht. We see you with Beyonce, a Texas fan, by the way, as best I understand. Beyonce, Texas fan. So with Clips, I love the album because I love the energy. But at a certain point, it's like, come on, man, we're 50. Y'all 50 years old. Like, what are we doing?
How you gonna be talking about grimy and you sitting there on driving a Porsche?
That's all I'm asking, Marcus. That's all I'm asking, right? Like, go ahead, Corey. Go ahead.
But okay, so my argument though is still like people always talk about, boys change. I can't relate to them no more. So then when they trying to relate, now it's a bad thing. So I get they not living a lifestyle, but they just trying to relate to the common listener. You know what I'm saying? So can I bash them for that?
Let me put it to you like this, because this is my perspective on it. All right, Corey. When you were grinding there in Midland, Texas, right?
Shout out 432.
And if someone from New York City, right, or LA, or a top 5 sports market in the nation, try to say, Corey, man, I feel you, bro. I empathize with you. You're gonna be like, no, you don't empathize with this $30,000 check. You don't empathize with being a one-man band. You know what I'm saying? Like, that would be like if Stephen A came to me and was like, I empathize with you. Like, no, you don't. No, you don't.
Okay, I'll give you that. I'll definitely give you that. Yeah, I'll give you that. You got a good point there. That would piss me off for sure. that would. You're right. You got me. Okay. But isn't it cool though to just hear Pusha, to hear Jay-Z? You know what I'm saying? Like, it is cool to hear them do their thing like it was back in the day. But yeah, like I get your point though. I really do.
And Corey, I'll say this as we're up against the break. I'll say this real quick. I think my feelings on it may be skewed because Marcus knows this. I kind of joked about with it yesterday when I was on with Harj. I got to stop, being adventurous over on Riverside, man. I got sushi off of Riverside, dog. I had, I got when I first moved to Austin. When I first moved to Austin, I went and got, like a little massage. I found a massage place off of Riverside. Those were not good ideas, but I was listening to clips when I went over to Riverside. So maybe my whole feeling is just skewed on things that, listen, hey, fellas, I'm not from here. All right. I'm learning on the fly. I need the OGs. I need, Mark, Harj, Marcus, Corey, everyone to keep me on check. But that's another story for another time. Again, jam-packed 8 a.m. hour. Stay tuned. Chip Brown, Horns 24/7. Hank South, Horns 24/7. Talking all things Texas football. We'll be back. AM 1300's The Zone, the morning kickoff.
Take me out to the ball game.
Book a stay out of town.
Book a spa package and lounge by the pool.
The kids agree that this trip really rules, so we'll book an apartment with space for the whole family.
And it's 1, 2, 3 clicks away to your perfect Booking.com stay.
The right stay can make you a fan of any U.S. city. Booking.com, yeah.
Official accommodation partner of MLB.
What's the best place to reach new customers for your business? Wherever they are. And that's exactly where you can be with iHeartMedia. We talk to our listeners everywhere, from the car to the gym to the kitchen. Your next customer is listening. And not only can we get your message to your audience, we can also show you how it's working in real time. That goes for broad brand messaging and targeted hyperlocal influencer campaigns alike. Start growing your business today at iHeartAdvertising.com. That's iHeartAdvertising.com.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You ever go car shopping and just walk back to your old car and say, you know what? You're not so bad. Maybe a new paint job, maybe fix up those dents and dings. New car prices are going crazy now. Interest rates, prices, everything is up. Maaco can make your current ride look like new. Paint touch-ups, dent repairs, fresh bumper. It's a little like a car makeover is what it is. At Maaco, they make it easy. Come in for a free estimate, and their expert technicians will handle the rest. Quick turnaround, by the way. Real value. That's what Maaco does. And we're keeping our cars longer. So make your current ride feel new again. Before you shell out for something new, make your old look new. With Mako's national reach and community focus, you're not just getting top-notch service. You're actually getting a partner you can trust. Go to Mako.com today. You'll find a shop near you and book an appointment. That's Mako, MAACO.com. And remember, better get Mako.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 Pro on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16 Pro. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Hand sanitizer. It's lavender.
I'm good. Seriously.
Let me check this pocket. Oh, mints?
Really, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins. I'm a mom. Wait 1 sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
It's our best iPhone offer ever. Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your phone up to $800.
With 24 monthly bill credits, new line $100 plus a month on experience beyond finance agreement $999.99 and qualifying boarded. For well qualified plus tax and $10 connection charge. Payout via virtual prepaid card of 15 days. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. See T-Mobile.com.
You've got an app for music, an app for photos, maybe even one that helps you sleep. But only one app puts the live radio dial in your pocket and lets you save your favorite stations, playlists, and podcasts as presets. Get the free iHeartRadio app. The #1 app for radio.
From the Audio-Visual Consultation Studios, Sports Radio 1300 The Zone, KVET AM Austin, your home for the Horns, and the #1 preset in your car and on the free iHeartRadio app.
The morning kickoff. The morning kickoff.
It's the morning kickoff with Mike Hardball Harge and the world's strongest man, WWE Hall of Famer, Mark Henry, on your home for the Horns, 1300 The Zone.
It indeed is a feel-good Friday morning kickoff. Mike Hardball Harge, Mark Henry, pinch hitting for the fellas, Eric Henry of 24/7 Sports, Cory Mose of KVUE. Welcome to the 8 a.m. hour. We'll get back to the Texas football talk with, of course, the Longhorns set to take the practice fields next week as the team will report for camp on Tuesday. Cory, I know in the 7 a.m. hour, we talked about what we're most looking forward to. Something I should have mentioned in that hour is, of course, looking forward to the opportunity to talk to the coordinators. Yeah. We get one shot to talk to those coordinators. Steve Sarkisian coming from the Nick Saban coaching tree. Coordinators not made available during the year. You get one shot. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. Most definitely. But at the 8 a.m. hour, I want to get into, your biggest concern. We talked about what we're most looking forward to. Biggest concern around this Texas football team. I know what I said I was most looking forward to was the offensive line. Ironically enough, Cory, that's not my biggest concern. I have other, I won't say things, other facets of this football team that week one, or I should just say maybe the entirety of the 3-week training camp, I will be keeping my eye on, but I'll turn over to you first. What would be the thing that you say, this is the thing I want to keep my eye on because I think it could play a factor with this football team, not only just August 30th at Ohio State, but the entirety of the football season?
Yeah, I would say the biggest concern for me is the communication on the back end in that secondary. That was the biggest thing last year that we talked about. What set Texas's secondary apart when we talked to Jade, when we talked to Michael Tabb, when we talked to Makuba, they all mentioned communication. We've been playing with each other for years, or we've known each other for years, I should say. And the communication was just so easy to them when it came with Michael Tabb in the back end, communicating to Makuba and Muhammad and Barron. But now this year, Tabb ain't got his boys. And so is he still able to communicate the way he was able to? Will they get it? Will Jelani McDonald get it the way that Makuba got it, right? Will Manny Muhammad get it the way that Jade got it? Those are the things that I'm interested to see, especially with so many new faces in that back end. And so will the communication stay the same? Because remember, it wasn't too far ago when Michael Penix sliced some boys up in the secondary. And so, I think that's something I'm going to definitely look out for this season when it comes to communication and coverage bus.
Folks, I promise you, those of you watching us on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, we did not plan this, even though it looks like we planned the same outfit. Both of us wearing our free Sugar Bowl hoodie. Shout out to the fine folks who planned the Sugar Bowl. Hey, the media gifts have been on point the last 2 years. Sugar Bowl hoodie. I got the Cotton Bowl book bag that still works great for me. So shout out to the media gifts. But we did not plan this. I have the same concern, Corey. And I'm so glad you mentioned this again. I will get some sound for next week when Mark is back, because it's the question I asked Steve Sarkisian. What are your concerns, your thoughts on the communication in the secondary? Corey did a great job outlining it. How many times did we hear during the 2023 season we would ask Jahdae Barron or Ryan Watts or Michael Taff or Jaron Thompson, what are the issues with this pass defense? What are the issues with this secondary? Because we know the talent was there on that team, but for whatever reason, games that should have been put away, TCU, others, Houston, ended up being a very close game. Oklahoma, teams threw their way back into ball games. And the answer we always heard, two things: communication, tackling. I can't tell you the amount of times I heard Jahdae Barron say, we just got to communicate better. It's got to communicate better. So, as Corey notes, how do you fix the communication? Well, you go get a guy, I should say, who is a childhood friend of Jahdae Barron and Michael Taff and Andrew Makuba. All of the, bonding, off-season communication, right? How many times do we hear, Corey, oh man, the communication we had on the field, that was built in May. That was built in June, right? Well, you have three guys, 512 natives, who have been communicating from the time they were 7th, 8th grade, right? So you've solved that problem. But as you said, and I've written about it, and I can't emphasize it enough, what do you do when 2/3 of that combination is gone, right, Corey? I am going to be super interested to see, because, listen, I think Pete Kukowski is one of the top defensive coordinators in the nation. A lot of respect for him. I think Dwayne Akina is not going to stand for communication errors in the secondary. I think Mark Orfe is going to do a good job with his unit. But, Corey, we have no real reason to believe that the communication issues that plagued this team in 2023 will be solved in 2025 without the presence of that 5-1-2 trio. A trio, Corey, that you've covered extensively, whether it's been your stories of band performance, whether it's been you were at Jahdae Barron's draft party, correct? I mean, you know the group. You've talked to these guys. You better than anyone can speak to the natural, kind of cohesion these guys have. But how do you fix that? And I'll be this real quick. I'll say this real quick before I pass it back to you. I was real impressed with Steve Sarkisian's answer when he said they had to put a muzzle on Michael Taff, because my assumption naturally was, okay, well, Taff will just pick up the mantle. He'll be the leader in the secondary and everyone else will follow. But what Steve Sarkisian is saying is, no, I want those other guys. I want Jelani McDonald. I want Warren Roberson. I want Manny Muhammad. I want, Derek Williams, all those guys to find their own voice so they know how to communicate. So if, God forbid, Michael Taff isn't in the ball game, we got other guys who can communicate. Corey, your thoughts?
Yeah, yes. What you just said, love everything you just mentioned, because Sark is totally right. You don't want to depend heavily on Taff, because he will do it. Like, he will be the guy to be like, yeah, I can take care of all of it. But like you said, one injury away, now you lost your signal caller. And so, not wishing that upon anybody, but you just never know with this game. Look at Derek Williams. That's another guy. I'm glad you mentioned Derek, by the way, because I like Derek a lot. No one's really talking about Derek, but I feel like, let's look back 2 years ago. We're talking about a freshman who was taking snaps away from Jaron Thompson, a freshman who was taking snaps away from Michael Taff. He was in that rotation. And so I don't want to, and then before he got hurt against Oklahoma, he caused a fumble. And so, like, those are the type of things that I just feel like people aren't really talking about Derek Williams a lot. It's a lot of Jelani McDonald conversation, which we get it. Like, McDonald has a lot of hype around him. But Derek Williams, he produced already on the field. And so him coming back is going to be a factor as well. But to answer, well, not to answer your question, but to like a little caveat to what you were talking about, one thing that kind of gives or should give Texas fans peace in this whole situation for our concerns of the secondary is I feel like they're not going to have to cover as long as they're used to. because I think on the flip side of this whole conversation is that pass rush is going to be different this year. With Colin Simmons taking that next step, you bring in a Brad Spence who rushes the passer. And I think something that Coach Sarkisian mentioned at the Texas High School Football Coaches Association was intriguing to me was with Trey Moore. Now he's in a stand-up backer role more and more. Of course, we're not trying to, do a play on words, but Moore is now doing more as a stand-up backer. And, he's not just strictly a designated pass rusher, which to me provides versatility. We saw that towards the end of the season last year, and you saw how much it helped out Trey to provide more production. And then you throw in Ant Hill. Of course, we already know what he can do when it comes to rushing the passer and moving him around the line. I just feel like now that secondary gets a little bit of help with that pass rush this year. And hopefully that can amend any of those communication issues, if there are any in the back end, because they're getting to the quarterback so fast.
For those of you listening, I just did the point to head gif when Cory mentioned the pass rush, because I think that's an excellent point in terms of not having to cover as long, right? That's one thing that Texas in 2023, for all of the things we can say about how good that defense was against the run, they got to the quarterback, but not a ton, Cory. Mm-hmm. Now you have a guy like Anthony Hill as a junior, a guy like Colin Simmons as a sophomore, Brad Spence. There's so much meat on the bone. We can dive into Trey Moore, because I actually am going to write about this for the site next week. When I covered, for those who don't know, I covered Group of Fives. I covered Conference USA. So I covered the league that Trey Moore played in prior to getting to Texas. I never saw him do a ton from a stand-up backer position. Now, what I did see him do, Cory, is, sometimes you'll see your edge rushers, instead of getting in that, that three-point stance, they'll kind of stand up off the edge. I've seen that, and that could be, kind of how you would see that old school 3-4 linebacker rush as that fourth rusher, right? Maybe there's room for him to do that. But I do agree with you that that's an excellent point in terms of the pass rush. I do want to bring it back to this. In terms of the secondary, and I know you said you're happy that Derek Williams is getting mentioned, I think this star position, there's a lot of room to talk about this during fall camp. Does Jalen Gilbo make the move to outside corner like Jahdae Barron did? Does he stay at star? Personally, I'm a big fan of a guy who plays the star, a bigger player, north of 6 feet. Of course, Jahdae wasn't north of 6 feet, but he played physical. He played bigger than his size, right? Who can play in the run fit, who can be a guy who, makes 50, 60 tackles, but also has the ability to cover. I think Derek Williams can do that. I think Jelani McDonald can do that, although Michael Taft has pretty much said multiple times, we'll see if it's true or gamesmanship, that Jelani McDonald will play next to him at safety. And I'll give you one more name, who, again, it's early, but I think he could do it in the star, Jonah Williams, a guy who's 6'3", 211 pounds. His size, being a big dime linebacker, I feel like he could do it at the star as well. So plenty to look out for next week when fall camp opens. Cory Mose of KVUE, Eric Henry, 24/7 Sports. It is the morning kickoff, pinch hitting for Mike Hardball Harge and Mark Henry. Up next, it'll be Hank South of Horns 24/7 Sports, Mangiander, talking recruiting and all things Texas football.
Do you ever feel like when you're talking, nobody is listening? Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone will listen to you. What is on your mind? Go! All you have to do is use the iHeartRadio app talkback feature when listening to AM 1300 The Zone.
Yo, hello, it's me. Enjoy the show.
We will get your message instantly, and we promise to listen to it. AM 1300 The Zone.
Our iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One, is back in Vegas.
T-Mobile Arena.
September 19th and 20th, streaming live only on Hulu. 15 artists, 2 nights, 1 stage. Get tickets now at AXS.com.
Capital One is the proud presenting partner of iHeartRadio Music Festival, bringing great products, rewards, and services to its customers. What's in your wallet?
The JB and Sandy Show podcast. Stream it on the iHeartRadio app.
A stalled vehicle has been moved from the main lanes over to the right shoulder, southbound on 183 at Montopolis Drive. Looking at your drive this morning on I-35 going southbound, some stop-and-go speeds from Palmer Lane over to 183, about a 5-minute slowdown, but traffic-free at the moment on Mopac northbound from Barton Springs to 2222. I'm Jason Fossick with a look at Austin area traffic.
This report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. At Progressive Insurance, they offer auto, home, and commercial auto insurance, plus a variety of business insurance options to cover your small business needs and more. Visit Progressive.com today. Again, that's Progressive.com.
Is credit card debt ruining your life? Did you know you have a right to settle that debt for much less than you owe? DebtBlue has helped people just like you resolve millions of dollars of high-interest credit card debt. They can help with payment relief, the burden of rising inflation, and have a large portion of your debt wiped clean. If you have $10,000 or more in credit card debt, a free 10-minute phone call could save you thousands. Discover how to reduce or completely resolve your credit card debt. In fact, we're so sure that we can reduce your debt that we offer the DebtBlue Success Guarantee. We don't get paid unless your debt gets reduced or resolved, so there's absolutely no risk to call. For your free debt resolution plan, call 800-200-0788. That's 800-200-0788. The call is free. The consultation is free. The more you owe, the more you can save. Call now, 800-200-0788, 800-200-0788.
Would you drive 10 minutes for $500? That's the distance from CarMax to Henna Chevrolet. And Henna guarantees you $500 more than any CarMax offer for your vehicle. Just show Henna your written CarMax appraisal offer within 7 days, and you'll get $500,000 more guaranteed. Is your time worth $50 a minute? It is at Henna. Come get your money at Henna.com.
Henna Chevrolet, we'll always stand by you.
Together, let's drive.
Back to school is on the brain. That means new notebooks, pencils, new everything. And while the kids are getting ready to get book smart, it's time for you to save smart with Straight Talk Wireless. Switch now and get a free Moto G 2025 with 5G when you activate select plans. Now that's a smart call. Get Straight Talk covered by Verizon's 5G network. Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Offer valid through 10/19/25. Taxes and fees apply. Purchase of gold unlimited plan or higher required for offer. Must activate the plan in-store at Walmart. Cannot be combined with other offers.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. That does give us certain advantages, for example, in focus and resources. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. If you're a guy facing divorce, remember, Cordell & Cordell, a partner you can count on.
Austin, San Antonio, and St. Louis. CordellCordell.com.
Ice Cube's Big Three live from Cincinnati this Saturday, 1 p.m. on CBS. Physical and fiercely competitive 3-on-3 basketball. Houston must win to keep their playoff hopes alive against the physical Miami 305. Starring Michael Beasley and Lance Stevenson coming off a heartbreaking loss. Then Dwight Howard and the surging LA Riot fight the Detroit Amps for a share of first place. Plus 2 more games. Basketball the way it's meant to be played. Big Three live on CBS and Vice this Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 Pacific.
Yay! Craig Way here, and no matter who you listen to on the air and no matter which team you root for, we can all agree in recommending Dr. Greg Eckert as your dentist. Dr. Eckert has been serving the Austin area for 30 years now. He's been my dentist for more than a decade. Greg Eckert and his staff will show you what your situation is, and they'll tell you what they can do to help so that you can make the informed decision about your dental health care needs. Give Dr. Eckert a call today at 512-345-3166. They're open on Fridays if that works for you. 512-345-3166 for Dr. Greg Eckert.
Hey, it's Coach Hart. Now back to the morning kickoff with Harge and Henry on your radio home for the Longhorns, 1300 The Zone.
I did it again, Marcus. My apologies. That one's got to be a fine. That one has got to be a fine. Morning kickoff, AM 1300. The Zone, Mike Hardball Harge, Mark Henry pinch hitting for the fellas, Eric Henry of Horns 24/7, Cory Mose of KVUE. We're joined by a special guest talking Texas football. He is the managing editor of Horns 24/7. And Hank, do I have it correct? A Westlake alum? Is that correct?
You do. Westlake Shaps, 09.
There we go. He is Hank South of 24/7 Sports. And Hank, let's dive right into it. Cory and I have spent the majority of the show talking all things Texas football, what we are looking forward to, what we are concerned about in anticipation of camp opening next week. Just want to open the floor to you. What's one thing that you are looking forward to, most looking forward to? And one thing, if you had to say there was a concern, what would that be?
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody's just looking forward to football being back. We've heard so many, good things about this team, whether at SEC Media Days with Sark saying it's the most talented, the deepest defense he's had. I'm excited to see how that unit looks with the new transfer portal additions from the spring, whether it be defensive line or, even guys we didn't get to see much of, in the viewing period in the spring from the January window. So I'm excited to see the defense out on the field. I'm excited to see Jack Indries. We saw him join the class in April. Obviously, didn't go through the spring practices with the team, but excited to see kind of his chemistry with Arch Manning, how that relationship is working and that connection. One thing I think anybody that follows Texas football or, fans would say, it's just, man, kind of just bracing to get through the fall camp without, devastating injuries like we saw last August with CJ Baxter and Christian Clark. So, I'm curious to see, do they change anything and how they go about how physical it is. I mean, you gotta tackle in practice. Sark's not, he doesn't shy away from that. He wants to be physical practices so they're ready for games. So I don't know how much you can change, but I would just, 4 weeks of that, you kind of brace a little bit. So that's what I would say I'm kind of, concerned about. Beyond that, I think they're going to be fine here, but, I'm kind of curious to see how wide receiver pans out with this group. There's not as many, surefire. I mean, they have their guys, they're 1 and 2 with Moore and Wingo, but, the last few years, it's kind of been a more clear cut, or even last year, it was just so deep at the wide receiver position. It was just, how many guys get involved. This year, it's more, Wingo, DeAndre Moore. Okay. After that, Emmett Mosley, Parker Livingston, like where are they going to go? How are they going to, draw some of this stuff up? So I'm curious to see that as well.
Go ahead, Cory.
Yeah, I was going to say, Hank, while we have you here, I'll be remiss and not talk about recruiting for a little bit.
Please.
And so I'm definitely intrigued with the landscape of what Texas has been doing recently. And I know Steve Sarkisian talked about this at the Coaches Association meetings, but he mentioned how he felt like in the past, Texas kind of focused a little bit too heavily on the state. And now his staff is branching out, going to California. Now we saw it in Florida with now Derek Cooper and that signing and the commitment, I should say. And so your thought process on why Texas's brand or just Texas as a whole has been able to make so much airwaves throughout the country and not just in the South.
Yeah. I think a couple things, obviously winning that kind of, that opens up more doors for them around the country. I think Texas has always been a national brand. A lot of the kids these days, it's crazy. Like a lot of these kids don't even know who Vince Young is anymore. So you're kind of outside that era of like, we can kind of fall back on that a little bit. Now it's like these kids know Bijan Robinson. These kids know, Quinn Ewers, other guys. So, winning certainly helps. I think the move to the SEC helps. Kids want to play in the SEC, in the Big Ten. They want to play where, the most guys are getting drafted from. So that has certainly helped. But, I thought what was interesting, Sark said was, because he's at the Texas High School Coaches Association. So it's like, you got to kind of have to, it's like walking a tightrope with like, yeah, we're recruiting nationally, but hey, we love your guys too, which they do. And, he was talking about, the need to kind of re-corral the state. He said he talked about, you're not going to sign everybody from the state of Texas. There's just too many good players. You just can't physically like do that. So, but he did talk about wanting to corral it better, maybe make a little bit more of an emphasis in the next 12 to 24 months on keeping the top guys home. And I thought it was interesting. He wasn't even talking about just necessarily keeping them at Texas. It was just more like, hey, we want the top high school football players in Texas to stay in the state of Texas, whether that's A&M, Texas Tech, TCU, like the in-state school. So I thought that was really interesting. But yeah, it's certainly a balancing act where it's like, yeah, you need to make sure you could sign your full class from the state and probably be fine. But they go out, and what Texas says a lot of the times is like, they don't go out of state for a recruit unless they see first round potential in him. That's how they recruit out of state. And I think that helps them a lot because that's what they tell kids. And you look at it, a lot of the guys, especially now in Florida, a Derek Cooper, a JJ Johnson, Diabell obviously is now the number one quarterback in the 24/7 Sports Composite. Those are kind of first round projection type guys. So a lot of factors go into it, but yeah, I did get the feeling that he wants to kind of reestablish the in-state guys, because especially with this class, you look at, I think the majority of their official visitors in the summer were from out of state. So, they have their big in-state targets, whether the guys that have on board now, they went for Felix Ojo, they got John Turntine. So they are focusing on the state, but it does seem like a little bit more out of state in the 2026 cycle specifically.
Hank, I want to ask you this, and this may be the last question we can sneak in here, but we had this conversation on a different platform. I'm hoping you can bring it here. Could you talk about just the importance of not only recruiting outside of Texas, because you talked about the need to reestablish Texas, but we talked about recruiting South Florida and what that can mean for the program. Getting a Diabell from American Heritage, getting a Derek Cooper from Chaminade Madonna, excuse me. Can you just talk about maybe the importance of what that can mean long-term for Texas football if they can establish ties in South Florida?
Yeah, I mean, I go back to my time covering Alabama. It's like when Alabama still is obviously a really good team, but when things were really going well for them, they were recruiting South Florida really well. And that was back when Mario Cristobal, who's now the head coach at Miami, was the area recruiter for South Florida. It was like, if he's going down there, like, they're not missing on a kid, whether it's, Calvin Ridley, Amari Cooper, Jerry Jeudy, like that, it was done. And those are all wide receivers. But, it was, South Florida is such a hotbed of talent. You look at different regions throughout the country, whether it's the state of Georgia, Texas, California, South Florida is like its own place. It's like its own state of just like hotbed of talent. So I think it's huge. And, they're doing it up big this year. Will be interesting to see how, this trio of guys they have in James Johnson, Diabell, Derek Cooper, maybe opens kids' eyes a little bit more to the state of Texas, to Austin, about going there. So yeah, no, I mean, that to have a pipeline going, you're doing something right there, because those kids rarely miss in terms of their projection.
And Hank, real quick, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about the guy who we have spent the majority of this show not talking about, but of course we will have to get to him at some point before we get you out of here. Just your early initial thoughts, maybe what is it you're looking for from Arch Manning in camp?
Yeah. I think, his chemistry with these new guys, we haven't seen anything we didn't see Emmett Mosley with him in the spring. We didn't see Jack Injuries with him in the spring. Kind of see how he fits in with those guys. I have no concerns. I think Arch, his preparation, I think he's going to be dialed in. So I think he's going to look sharp from day one. I think they're ready to go. But I think the biggest thing would just be his connection with those new guys. And then, seeing Ryan Wingo, DeAndre Moore fully healthy after, Nixon, bruises in the spring, see how that all comes together ahead of August 30th.
Couldn't agree with you more, Hank. Again, all of the potential is there. Cory and I agree. All the potential is there, but you have to see how it comes together. Offense, you want to see if you can hit the ground running just like defense come August 30th. He is Hank South of Horns 24/7 Sports. Hank, appreciate you making the time, my man.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Morning Kickoff. We'll be back. Next segment, Chip Brown of Horns 24/7 will be joining us. We'll continue the Texas talk on AM 1300. Morning Kickoff. We'll be back.
From the Odoo.com Traffic Center, Odoo.com, the only business software you will need.
The right lane blocked off by an accident on I-35 northbound at McCarty Lane. It's causing a 5 to 7 minute slowdown that starts from Center Point Road. Further northbound on I-35, you're also slow from Onion Creek Parkway over to William Cannon Drive, adding 10 minutes to the morning commute. But we are issue-free over on the 130 Toll Road southbound at Moore. I'm Jason Fostick with a look at Austin area traffic.
This report is sponsored by Abacus Plumbing, Air Conditioning, and Electrical.
0628.
No power? No problem. With a whole home backup generator from Abacus. Abacus offers professional Generac installation with extended warranties, financing, and now certified Generac maintenance plans. Abacus, you can count on us.
Hardball Harge here for Covert Chevy in Hutto. This July, make every mile a celebration with Covert Chevy in Hutto. Take $12,000 off of MSRP on a new 2025 Silverado 1500 Custom or $6,000 off MSRP on a new 2025 Tahoe Premier. Summer adventures start here with big patriotic savings all month long. Come and see us at Covert Chevy in Hutto off of 79 or just shop covertchevyhutto.com and tell them Hardball Harge sent you.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating.
Keep celebrating when you bundle and save with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla of speed test intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025, Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 a month in bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
From the ABA Heating and Cooling Weather Center, this is Zone Weather.
Your Austin weather, a mix of sun and clouds for your Friday, a high of 95. Tonight, overcast, a low of 76. Saturday and Sunday, partly cloudy with highs in the mid-90s.
This report is sponsored by Texas Department of Transportation. If you think you need to speed, keep in mind that officers are out in force this month, reminding drivers to slow down or pay up. It's called Operation Slowdown. Speeding can cost you time, money, and hassle. It's just not worth it. A message from TxDOT.
Join iHeartRadio and Sarah Spain in celebrating the 1-year anniversary of iHeart Women's Sports.
With powerful interviews and insider analysis, our shows have connected fans with the heart of women's sports. In just 1 year, the network has launched 15 shows and built a community united by passion.
Podcasts that amplify the voices of women in sports.
Thank you for supporting iHeart Women's Sports and our founding sponsors, Elf Beauty, Capital One, and Novartis.
Just open the free iHeart app and search iHeart iHeart Women's Sports to listen now.
Sports Radio 1300 The Zone, your home for the Horns.
AM 1300 The Zone morning kickoff. Mike Hardball Harge, Mark Henry pinch hitting for the fellas. Eric Henry of 24/7 Sports and Cory Mose of KVUE. Scheduled to be joined here by Chip Brown. I believe he's joining us here in the waiting room here in a second. Cory, I'd be disappointed if you didn't know that little drop that Marcus brought us in with. You know, a little Mike Jones. You knew that, right? Maybe.
H-Town hold it down. No, H-Town hold it down for sure. I'm mad because Georgia people think it's Lotto's song.
Oh, I never even considered that aspect.
Lotto used that sample, and so people may think it's her. So I was like, nah, respect to H-Town.
That is another conversation for another day. But as I said, the Horns 24/7 takeover, I said in air quotes, of the morning kickoff continues as we've got Chip Brown, insider, columnist, longtime presence in the Austin market. CB, he is coming from us from on vacation, so I appreciate him taking a couple moments. Cory, I took a couple questions last time, so I will let you lead off, jump right into things with Chip Brown.
First off, Chip, where you at, dog? You look like you got an elegant place right now.
I know. I'm in a cabin in the mountains of Colorado.
That's awesome. That's definitely dope, bro. This first question off top, you know, we've been talking about the roster so far throughout this show today. And so just my first question would be, what is something that you're kind of interested to see next week during our first chances to see this team? Is there any position group that you are looking forward to getting your eyes on?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really the offense in general. Like, you know, want to see Arch Manning, or hear, you know, what we can't see here about Arch Manning and his relationship to those receivers, you know, Ryan Wingo, DeAndre Moore, and which of those newcomers, you know, Emmett Mosley, the fifth, the freshman, Dalen McCutcheon, you know, Khalil Lockett, Jamie French, Michael Terry the third. I feel like I have a pretty good handle on Jack Endries being a go-to guy just based on everything we heard at SEC Media Days. And so in the offensive line, I mean, we're not going to really know what's going on with the offensive line until we get to the Ohio State game. And I keep saying this, Matt Patricia is a new defensive coordinator at Ohio State. We don't really know what he's going to be majoring in. And so that's going to be an unbelievable test for this offensive line because they could prepare for something and get something totally different and have to be, you know, sort of scrambling as they go. And that's where that leadership on that offensive line, I think, is going to be so important. And, you know, even last year, I don't think you would have said DJ Campbell was like a tip of the spear leader. He was a guy who was trying to figure it out. And Cole Hudson, who started as a freshman and then became a rotational player for the last couple of years. How effective are those guys as leaders when stuff starts hitting the fan? So those are kind of my most intriguing storylines to watch because I think this defense is going to be pretty nasty.
Yeah.
Again, just join us. We're joined by Chip Brown of Horns247.com. Appreciate Mrs. Brown for letting Chip do this hit because she tried to get him as far away as possible. No Wi-Fi, no cell reception, and somehow he still found a way to do this. Chip, I'm going to ask you about SEC Media Days. I know there were some things left over, some meat on the bone you wanted to get into. Have at it, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, I think you look at there's so many great storylines going into this. I mean, I think the media, well, we know the media because they voted in a poll. I think Texas and Georgia are going to square off again for the conference championship. And this year, Texas has to go to Athens, where Georgia has a 31-game home winning streak going into the season. Now, they'll play, I think, 4 or 5 home games before they play Texas. So that streak could still be alive or it could be recent history. But, you know, Texas has to show that they can handle the Bulldogs. And do they get them in Athens, or does Georgia get that one and then maybe they meet up for the SEC title? I think that's going to be, a fascinating storyline to watch. Gunnar Stockton, who's already beaten Texas for an SEC title with his play in the second half of that game, going up against Arch Manning. Florida, DJ Lagway. Eric, you and I talked at SEC Media Days how impressive DJ Lagway was. A guy who went 6-1 as a starter, and the only loss was the Georgia game where he was leading 10-3 when he left the game. That's a team that is very intriguing, and it seems like there's some juice behind the Gators, and that's going to be a tough road game for Texas in early October. So, I think you've got some intriguing storylines. I know the home schedule's not great. Fans are not happy about the Texas home schedule. They're not real excited about San Jose State and UTEP and Sam Houston, but you do get Arkansas and A&M at the end. So, if you can sweat it out in September, you'll get some cooler temps and some big rivalry games at the end.
Go ahead, Cory.
Yeah, I just want to say something because you mentioned something we touched on earlier in the show, was the Florida game. And I threw that out there earlier in the show. I said, I think Texas fans should be a little bit more worried about that game than Ohio State. What say you?
Yeah, I kind of agree with you, Cory, because DJ Lagway, I don't know much about Julian Sayin. I know he went to Alabama when Nick, Saban was there. And then when Saban retired, he left and went to Ohio State and was a high, 5-star recruit. But Lagway was the number one quarterback in 2024, and he has more game experience than Arch Manning, who was the number one quarterback in 2023. And that stuff matters. That game experience matters when you've been in big games, when he's faced Georgia, even though it was only 2 quarters, he had a 10-3 lead on him. And he can run. He can be elusive when he has to be, but he's a passer. I think he's dangerous. I think he's one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the SEC. And I think that game is going to be amazing. And the fact that it's the week before Oklahoma makes it more complicated for Texas, for Steve Sarkisian, in terms of, getting their attention. Now, Florida will have played, I think, Miami and LSU.
Correct.
By the time they play Texas. So both teams are going to have film of them, of the other team trying to be at its best. Florida will have the Texas-Ohio State film. And so I think that is the more dangerous game. I think the 2 most dangerous games on the schedule are Florida and Georgia. Look, the Cotton Bowl, that game can go any direction. We know that. The atmosphere is chaos. If you're not ready for that atmosphere, and the momentum gets on the wrong side of you, that game can get away from you. And we've seen that. So, and I am a buyer of John Mateer at quarterback for OU. I think he's Sam Leavitt. I've said that multiple times. He's elusive, more elusive than you think. Sam Leavitt was running away from Anthony Hill Jr. Like, no one does that. So it's going to be a great test of a team that Steve Sarkisian clearly thinks has a chance to win championships this year. They're going for it. And that's exciting because we haven't been talking like this, Cory, for years. It was like, well, that year looks like it could be a year where they contend, but then it'll be a bridge year. Maybe that year they could contend. And now we're talking about they're contending each year. And I always say this to Longhorns fans, enjoy this while you've got it, because right now you have alignment in leadership and it's fully supporting football. And when you don't have alignment, it's a mess. And Texas fans know that from the Steve Patterson era. So, these are great days. If you're a Texas Longhorns football fan, it's a great these are great days if you're a Texas Longhorn fan across the board, because most every sport is contending. But it is exciting.
No doubt about it. That is Chip Brown of Horns 24/7 Sports. Chip, we're up against a break, but I appreciate you jumping in from vacation, sir. We will talk soon. Thank you, sir.
Y'all are the best. Have fun.
No doubt. AM 1300 Zone Morning Kickoff. We'll be back.
Too much dip on your chip. Too much dip on your chip.
So, Cory, you know them emails when they say
weekdays at 2.
Wait, tell me. What did you say?
The JB and Sandy Show podcast. Stream it on the iHeartRadio app.
The right lane's blocked off by an accident on I-35 northbound at McCarty Lane. It's causing a 5 to 7 minute slowdown that starts from Center Point Road. Further northbound on I-35, you're also slow from Onion Creek Parkway over to William Cannon Drive, adding 10 minutes to the morning commute. But we are issue-free over on the 130 Toll Road southbound at Moore. I'm Jason Fostick with a look at Austin area traffic.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Business owners can now keep in touch with up to 200 staff members at one time. Go to rapidradios.com now for up to 60% off and free shipping.
Want to win cash while watching sports? All it takes is 3 simple steps. Download the Better app, pick more or less on player stats, watch the games, and win some cash. It's that simple. Better Picks is available in 33 states, including Texas, California, and Georgia. Download the Better app today. That's Better, BETR, and get a free $10, no deposit necessary. Must be 21 or older and in a jurisdiction where Better Picks operates. Terms and conditions apply. Better Picks. Sports just got better.
Lowe's knows big savings make a big difference, especially when you're shopping for appliances. Hurry in to get up to 30% off select major appliances. Plus, My Lowe's Rewards members get free delivery, free haul away, free installation and parts on purchases of $2,500 or more. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 7/30. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Price, delivery time, and vehicle availability may vary based on order size and location. Exclusions apply. See Lowe's.com/delivery for more details.
After 48 years, Factory Mattress is going out of business forever. Over $15 million worth of world-class mattress brands must be sold immediately. Up to 80% off at Austin and San Antonio's largest independent mattress retailer. Everything must go, right down to the bare walls. Tempur-Pedic, Sealy, and Stearns & Foster. No interest financing is still available. The Factory Mattress going out of business sale is happening now at all 14 locations. Don't miss it.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights. We can reawaken any space to make your happy place your home. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
Shop simple. It doesn't get any easier. You're looking for a new Ford. You don't have time to spend hours at the dealership. So Truck City Ford in Buda has made it simple. Go online. Pick yours at truckcityford.com. We can bring it to you for a home test drive. Once you determine it's perfect, you can arrange financing, value your trade, and sign all your paperwork digitally. Then simply tell us where and when you want to take delivery. Leif Johnson's Truck City Ford in Buda has made buying a new Ford simple.
Hey there, history fans.
iHeartRadio brings you a brand new history podcast.
It's called American History Hotline,
where you ask the question,
what is political technology?
Did George Washington really cut down a cherry tree?
Were JFK and Marilyn Monroe having an affair?
And American History Hotline gets to the bottom of it.
I'm so glad you asked me this question.
This is such a ridiculous story that we tell ourselves because we don't want to know the real story.
Open your free iHeartRadio app. Search American History Hotline and listen now.
Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya, guselkumab, may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
And Doug.
Here we have the Limu Emu in its natural habitat, helping people customize their car insurance and save hundreds with Liberty Mutual. Fascinating. It's accompanied by his natural ally, Doug.
Limu, is that guy with the binoculars watching us?
Cut the camera. They see us.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Savings vary. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Sports Radio 1300 The Zone, your home for the Horns.
AM 1300 The Zone, morning kickoff. Mike Hardball Harge, Mark Henry. Mark is out till Monday. Harge has earned a well-deserved vacation, so pinch hitting. Eric Henry of Horns 24/7. Cory Mose of KVUE bringing you home up through the 9 a.m. hour. Cory, we've talked a lot of Texas football, and that's where we'll finish the show with what defines a successful season for Texas football. But before we get to that, I did want to ask you this, because the 2025-2026 Texas men's basketball non-conference schedule dropped yesterday. And Cory,
yeah,
Marcus, I don't know if you want to come work at the Mood at nights, because let's run down this schedule. We got Lafayette at home. We go to Fairleigh Dickinson at home. We go see that same squint that was on Marcus's face. For those of you watching, it's basically what I have. We got Kansas City at home.
I didn't know there was a college called
I did not know. Ryder at home. And then we finish up with at least with a school I know, a little drumline action, a little Southern, you know what I'm saying? I might at least rock with that if they bring the band. Lemoyne and Maryland East Shore, folks. Those are your home games outside of Virginia. Yes, sir, Marcus.
I know that they're bringing back March Madness basketball, but are they doing creative team versions?
Marcus, I cannot be mad at that. Listen, the road schedule is great. Cory, I will be in the building. Marcus, I will be in the building when Texas opens the season against Duke.
Oh,
I will be there for that. I'm going to try to see if I can pitch it to the bosses to make the Yukon trip. But listen, if you are a Longhorn fan and you want to watch your Texas Longhorns, and listen, this is the flagship station of the Texas Longhorns. So listen, AM 1300 The Zone. Don't want to dissuade anybody there. But the home slate, it's a little rough, Cory. Well, your thoughts, man?
Yeah, like Lemoyne sounds like a French restaurant. Like I should be going there to get some croissants or something, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, the thought process is get the blowouts in at the crib. There should be no close games. Maybe Virginia, just because of the way they play defense. But like other than that, man, it should be straight fireworks at the Moody Center. I better be seeing 100-point blowouts, because I don't know who half of these guys are on this schedule, dude. No idea.
Cory, all I see in our future is a lot of nights at the Mood where it's just me, you, and maybe 3 other people in that media room. And, hey, maybe that'll be the Jordan Pope 50-point game, because we know he did that last year, right? So
yeah, he got it in his bag, right? He got it in his bag. We know that.
He's got it in his bag. So that'll give you a reason to get out to the Mood. But yeah, that home slate, it'll be family friendly. It should be family friendly pricing for the folks there at Moody Center. Before we get out of here, man, like I said, I did want to ask you, Cory, with Texas football having made the college football playoff semifinal back-to-back years, what is a successful season to you in 2025?
Successful season, going back to the SEC championship. I think that's a consensus of not winning it per se. Like I don't want to put a lot of pressure on winning it, but a successful season would be proving that last year was legit. They do deserve to be in this conference, and they're going to start running the table. And to do that, you at least got to make it to the championship game again. And then I think at least make it into the national championship game. I think overcoming that hump of that semifinal is big for them this year. I think if they're able to do that and maybe lose the title game, I think it's still a successful season. Now, they probably wouldn't say the same, but if I'm being an unbiased journalist, I'm being fair, and I kind of look at things logically, and I think logically that would be a successful season if you're able to make it to the SEC championship game again and make it to the title game, but at least beat Georgia once. I think that's also like another thing on the table where you at least got to beat them once, whether at Athens or in the SEC title game, but you got to beat them once this season.
Marcus, go ahead. Look like you want to jump in real quick.
I agree. Actually, I would say I don't think they have to get to the national championship, but you have to at least be in the Final Four. I think you have an Arch first year as a starter full time. That kind of complicates things a lot, but if you do, I would say match what you've done and beat Georgia.
I can bring us home on this. I do believe, Cory, that Texas will play for a national title in 2025. And I do believe that Texas will, at some point this season, beat Georgia. I do not know if that's going to be the regular season game, because I think the SEC title game is going to be a rematch of last year. In order to be the man, you have to beat the man. I believe Georgia, that team always has something to prove, and I do think they will be there. If Texas can beat Georgia at the Georgia Dome, or I guess the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, in front of those fans, that would be a huge momentum shift into the college football playoff. Yes, sir. Go ahead, Cory, real quick.
Who are they playing that title game against? Don't say Penn State.
You know what? I'm not 100% sure yet. I'm still a little undecided. I haven't gotten there yet. But I do believe the Texas Longhorns will play for a national title. Of course, you're home to listen to the Texas Longhorns, AM 1300, The Zone. Morning Kickoff. We'll be back Monday. Mark Henry will be back. Cory Mose, appreciate you sitting in, my man.
Man, this is awesome. Thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
Appreciate
I'm
you, Marcus.
Amy Tanton for Viome. Viome's full body intelligence test is the new science